Okay, you got it. So, they weren't so happy. In fact, they were miserable. Stop sticking your tongue out like that, whined the princess.
Or how come we don't get to go to the pond anymore?
Said the prince. The prince and the princess were so unhappy, they didn't know what to do. Yes, I prefer you not hop around on the furniture, and it would be nice if you, say, got out of the castle once in a while to slay a dragon, or a giant, or whatever. But the prince didn't feel like going out and slaying anything. He just felt like running away. But then he reread the end of his book, and it said, right there, at the end of his story, and they lived happily ever after. The end. So he stayed in the castle and drove the princess crazy. Now, one day, the princess threw a perfectly awful fit. First you keep me awake all night with your horrible croaking snore, and now I find a lily pad in your pocket. I can't believe I actually kissed your slimy frog lips. I think we'd both be better off if you were still a frog. And that's when the idea hit him. Still a frog? Still a frog? Yes, that's it. And he ran into a forest, looking for a witch who can turn him back into a frog so that he can live happily ever after. Now, he hadn't gotten far before he ran into just the person he was looking for.
Miss Witch? Miss Witch. Excuse me, Miss Witch, I was wondering if you could help me. You see, I'm the Frog Prince, and
Say, you're not looking for a princess to kiss, are you?
no, Frog Prince. Actually, I was hoping you could turn me back into a frog so that I can live happily ever after. Do you think you could do it?
You're sure you're not looking for a, say, beautiful sleeping princess to kiss and wake up?
No. As I said before, I'm the Frog Prince.
Funny, you don't look like a frog. Oh well, if you're a prince, you're a prince. Can't have any princes waking up Sleeping Beauty before the 100 years are up. So I have to cast a nasty spell on you. Now which one? Turn me back into a frog? No. Kill the tomatoes? Nope. Now the prince didn't even stay to see which nasty spell the witch had in mind. So he ran deeper into the forest until he came to the second person who could help him.
Miss Witch. Excuse me, Miss Witch, I was wondering if you could help me. You see, I'm the Frog Prince, and...
Oh, I'm sorry, dear, what did you say? Prince?
No. I mean, yes. I mean, no. I mean, okay, I am not the prince looking for Sleeping Beauty. But yes, I am the Frog Prince. Actually, I was wondering if you could turn me back into a frog so that I can live happily ever after. Do you think you could do it?
Funny. I thought frogs were little green guys with webbed feet. Well, no matter. If you're a prince, you're a prince. Can't have any princes waking up Snow White. So, here. Eat the rest of this apple. Now, the prince, who knew his fairy tales, and knew a poisoned apple when he saw one, didn't even stay to say, no thank you. And he ran deeper into the forest until he came to the third person who could help him.
Miss Witch, excuse me, Miss Witch, I was wondering if you could help me. You see, I'm the Frog Prince, and
If you're a frog, I'm the king of France.
I'm not a frog, I'm the Frog Prince. But I am looking for a member of your profession who can turn me back into a frog so that I can live happily ever after. Do you think you could do it?
Now this witch looked the prince over and licked her rather plump lips. Oh, why, of course, dearie. Maybe I can fit you in for lunch. Now, as the prince followed her, he stopped at her house on the slightly gummy steps. He broke off a piece of the windowsill, tasted it. Gingerbread.
Miss Witch, I hope you don't mind my asking, but do you happen to know any children by the name of Hansel and Gretel?
Oh, why, yes, darling. I'm expecting them for dinner. Now, the prince, who, as we said before, knew his fairy tales, didn't even stay to say, no thanks, and he ran deeper into the forest until he was completely lost. Then he found another person who might be able to help him. He walked up to her, hoping she wasn't a witch, for he quite had his fill of witches.
Excuse me, ma'am, I'm the Frog Prince. Do you think you could help me?
Oh, 1 minute, dear. Ah! Oh, gosh, you do need it. You're the worst-looking frog I have ever seen.
I'm not a frog, I'm the Frog Prince. But I'm looking for someone like you, who can turn me back into a frog so that I can live happily ever after. Do you think you could do it?
Oh, Well, I'm going to go see a girl about going to a ball later today, but I suppose so. Never done frogs before. And with that, the witch, / godmother, / whatever she is, waved her wand and turned the prince into a beautiful carriage. The prince couldn't believe his rotten luck.
Oh, what an idiot I've been. I could be at home, sitting with my wife. But no, instead I'm stuck here. Stuck in the middle of this stupid forest. Stuck as a stupid carriage. Now will just won't and fall apart.
Now, as the prince was sitting there, the forest got darker and darker and even more spookier. And as it got spookier, he thought more frightening thoughts. And few worse. Oh, too awful to tell. Until, far away in the village, the clock struck midnight, and the prince turned into his former self, and ran by the light of the moon until he was safe inside of his own castle. Oh, Prince, darling, I've been worried sick. You're 7 hours late, your dinner is cold, and your clothes are a mess. Now, the prince looked at the nagging princess, but differently. He was looking at the person who had believed him, the person who loved him, the person who actually kissed his slimy frog lips. So, the prince kissed the princess. They both turned into frogs, and they hopped off, happily ever after. Thank you.